When there's a will, there's a way. I want to talk about how this phrase completely changed once I learned who I am. And all of you as well. You walk around saying a lot of these catchphrases, but I want you to transform them and really understand what will and way really means. But before we get started, thank you for being here and welcome to The Rosey Life. My name is Rose, and I am so happy that you're here. I appreciate you being here, liking my videos, and subscribing to the channel. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, you can go to TheRoseyLife.com. And you can also join the Rosey Life course and community, which is an ongoing course. It's always changing, and I'm always updating all the coursework as I level up, and everyone in there is leveling up together. And I come on live every Wednesday to answer questions and to dive deeper into these topics. Pretty soon, I just asked the course members to share with me their experience so far, and I'm going to be sharing this in the community tab and on Instagram and on my website, because me just saying how freaking amazing it is in there is maybe not going to do it for some of you, but you hearing it firsthand from people that are in there, I think that's going to really give you a different perspective. And so if you're interested in doing that, and if you're interested in working with me at one of the upcoming Rosey Life retreats, the first one is January 2nd in London, and the deadline to sign up for that is the 26th. And then I have one in San Diego and then Chicago, and it's going to be a small group of people that are like-minded, where we're going to dive deep an entire day on these topics to answer all questions, get rid of these doubts, really feel the power of having the others around you in person. And this is going to be so powerful because it's something that I've never done before. And I am excited to see what happens at each of these retreats. All right, so for the retreats, just email me at rose@roseylife.com and I'll send you all the details on how to sign up. All right, so when there's a will, there's a way. Now, I've heard this for my entire life. I had a mother who was very determined, and whenever she wanted to do anything, she made it happen. Somehow, some way, she always made it happen. But I always thought it was because of what she did, right? Of her power in her, what she was doing physically. So I grew up with seeing that, with hearing that. And for those of you who speak Spanish, or in Latinos, in Spanish, we say cuando hay ganas, right? Ganas means you have a will, a determination, and that actually you get shit done, right? I had somebody come in and install some new light fixtures in my home a couple weeks ago, and there is a lot of issues with the electric in the building because it's it's an old school building, and all the wiring and everything is really original. Okay, so he was just like, you know what, there's not a traditional way to do this by how normal electricians will do things like this. He said, but I have a way. And he just said, there's a way, and there's a will, and there's a way. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out, right? So we hear a lot of this, but we base it off of what we can tangibly do with our body, with our decisions, by calling people, by pestering people, by trying to yell, demand, get our way, be heard, be seen. Let me speak to the manager, all of those things, right? We think that will, that assertiveness is what actually gets shit done. Well, I want to share with you what it actually means. In the Bible, Neville talks about this verse as well, but in the Bible, in Luke 22:4, it says, not my will, but thy will be done. Now, what does that mean? Not my will, but thy will be done. So my will, well, let's talk about where our will is and where it ends. Your will is only in the choosing of your desire. Your will ends with the choosing of what you want. That's it. Your will. So when you think about what my will is versus thy will, meaning I am, God, love, universe, right? My will is to choose. My will is to choose what I want and to choose to trust that thy will is going to be done, right? So knowing that your will is the same will of I am. There's no difference. There's no separation in what you will and choose. I am wants it too. God wants that too for you. So whatever you choose, God, love, wants that too. And God's mind is in your mind, and your mind is in God's mind. There's no separation. It's always happening simultaneously. So not my will means I'm not going to sit here and think that my tiny little preschool attempts of trying to make things happen, that I have all the answers, and that my force and my brilliant mind and my intelligent IQ is the cause of why I'm successful, is the reason why I'm going to make shit happen in my life, or whatever, for whatever it is that you want, right? If you attribute it to your intelligence, to your IQ, to your hard work, to your effort, to it's you are the cause of it, right? If you attribute it to that, that is, I'm going to tell you, that is preschool. Even the most intelligent being on this planet with the highest IQ, that's preschool compared to what your God within what I am has the ability to do for you in the twinkling of an eye. Like that. All of your hard work and all your effort is cute and all, but that's not the power that I'm talking about. So if you attribute yourself as the cause to your success, as the cause to whatever it is based off of your efforts, and you don't see that the cause is what is behind all those efforts, what is behind any affirmation, what is behind any technique, what is behind any decision you make, that is the cause. The God within you, I am, that power. Why is this important to distinguish? Because when you think it's your willpower, your force and effort, that's the reason, every time you want to manifest something, achieve something, or see some success in somewhere, you're going to keep relying, you're going to go back to the drawing board of trying, efforting, controlling, manipulating, flipping every single thought. All of that, you're going to go back to the drawing board of having to put all that effort into making something happen. You will get success because you're that powerful. You will achieve things because you are that powerful. But do you really want to take the long road to do everything in your life the hard way of hard work and sweat and tears, unless you enjoy that experience of doing it, then go ahead. But what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not your will that is doing things. Your will ends with a choice. And you can choose to go down this painful, exhaustive, trying, manipulating, controlling, hardworking path if you want to for the experience of it. Or you can see that, wait, I only have to make a choice here, and then I am does everything else for me. Everything. Now you will be leaded and inspired to talk to people, take actions, those kind of things, but it's not going to come from you thinking that you have to make shit happen. Do you see the difference? It's going to come naturally. It's going to be so natural, like you rolling out of bed, like you flipping your hair or moving your hair out of your, it's going to be so natural that you yourself aren't even going to be aware that you are taking inspired action. If you're doubting if inspired action is inspired action, right there is telling you that it is not inspired action. Inspired action just comes so organically and naturally. You're just going to be like, I just feel like doing this. I just want to do this. But it's not going to be because you thought it and you're like, this must be inspired action. No, you're going to be doing things, not even realizing that you're doing them. Like you're going to say things and do things. Like I find myself, like, if I imagine seeing something, I will just like, okay, imagine it. And before I know it, I'm literally typing it. Literally. Like just today, I saw a post on the Facebook of someone rehoming a cat. And I saw the picture of the cat. I didn't see anything else but the face of the cat and its cute little paws, right? And I was like, oh, the kitty's so cute. I don't want it, but it was so cute. And I just felt like writing on there. And I said something like, oh, the kitty's already using its magical power of its cuteness. I said, before you know it, this cat's going to be sitting in front of a warm, cozy fireplace on a warm little blanket. I see it already. And then I hit post. Then I scrolled back up to look at the picture of the cat again. And guess what was there? The cat was in front of one of those foamy dog beds, like the dog bed with or a cat bed that was like a dome where it just had an entry, and the cat bed was in the shape of a fireplace. It was red with little bricks, and the cat was laying on a white fuzzy blanket. I didn't notice any of that. I wrote what I wrote, and then I saw that afterwards. You see, everything is always getting reflected back to you. Everything, if you become more and more aware. So now let's get to the other part. So not my will, but thy will be done. So thy will, right? Because the only way that things can happen is when you trust. And the only way that things can happen in a way that will blow your socks off. Let me put it that way better, okay? The way that things will happen in a way that blows your socks off, right, is when you get out of the way. When you get out of the way. So it's you getting out of the way is understanding that my only job here, my will ends when I make a choice. And then everything else, I turn it over to that power within me. And I allow that power within me to go and find the ways. That is the will of your Father, of I am, God, love. You turn over, you say, not my will, but thy will be done. I'm going to go ahead and let you do this, because you can do stuff much faster, easier, more magical, in ways that'll blow my socks off. I'm going to go ahead and put my faith and trust in you that you're taking care of it. But what happens from when we make that choice of what we desire to we say, okay, I'm turning this over to you, that could happen instantly, where you hear about instant manifestations, right? But what happens to right after we make a choice of what we want? We do an imaginal act, we affirm something, whatever it is, or you just think it. What happens right after that? That's when the fear and doubts come in. And then you start identifying with fears and doubts. You start saying, oh, this must be true. That's a good point. How would it happen when I'm here and what I desire is in Brazil? Or I'm here and what has to happen takes most people 5, 10, 20 years. Or I'm here, but what I want seems impossible and far away. It only happens to famous people, right? I'm here, but I'm like, look at what I've got. How's that going to happen, right? That is where you start slowing everything down, because now you're looking at your will and what you see as in the evidence of the 3D as the hardcore concrete will, that it has to go through those channels of the 3D. That's not turning it over to your higher self. That's not allowing his will to take over and make it happen. And when you really do that, you'll see how that's where you just like unexplainable things happen. People coming out of the woodworks, right? People just showing up out of the nowhere, right? So I have been manifesting and seeing this constantly in my life, where it's things that are happening just happen out of nowhere, and it's unexplainable to other people, but I know that it is me. I know that it is me reflecting. I see my reflection in this 3D. I see it more and more and more. Why? Because I look for it. I don't look for the evidence of my desires. I look for more, what's beyond what I'm looking at. What we see in the 3D is only a tiny little percentage of the possibility of who we really are. When you're paying attention more to, you know what, I'm going to choose to see what's beyond what I can see with my physical eyes, what I can hear, what I can touch. The invisible is where everything is, right? The invisible is where all the potential possibilities, all the multiple realities are. But you keep your eyes focused just on what you can use with your senses, what you can see, touch, hear, smell. So that's where it feels forced and trying, because you're trying to force to change what you see with your eyes or what you hear? Do you see you're trying to use your techniques to change what is instead of just focusing on what's behind what is invisible to the eye, right? So what is invisible to the eye is where all the magic is. And so instead of just looking at what is, say, you know, just because I can't see it right now, just because I can't hear it or feel it or touch it right now, does not mean it's not here with me at this moment right now, always. I'm going to go ahead and trust and believe that in this, what I see are my desires. They're right here, right now. They're fulfilled. Just because I can't see them doesn't mean jack squat, okay? And trust in that is a choice. I want to reiterate, I put this in another video, that trust is a choice. It's not something that you work for, earn, or have to work up to getting more. I'm working on that, or one day I'll feel more trust, or one day I'll feel more faith, or one day I'll believe, or one day I'll be able to experience trust. Trust is across the board, with people, with things, with your body, with your power, with your abilities, everything. Trust is just a choice. You choose to trust in the unseen. You don't have to have the evidence, and you can tell yourself this. I don't have to have the evidence to trust and believe that my desires are right here with me right now. I don't have to have the proof. In fact, I don't need the evidence. I don't have to have the evidence. I trust that what I want, what I desire, is right here with me right now. It always is. Always. 724. It always is. You're just focused more on what you can see, touch, hear, smell. You're focused on what you're used to using, your willpower, your control, your strength. You're focused on what everyone tells you or what you see. That is what you're focused on. Step back and become more aware of the unseen, because that is true power. Not my will, but thy will be done. Think about it. Do you want to do it the 3D, physical, slowpoke way, things that take time and hard sweat? Or do you want to turn this over into the power, the universe, to love that has infinite ways of bringing you your desires in the blink of an eye? Only you can make that choice, because that is where your will ends, by choosing. All right, my loves. I hope this video was helpful for you, and thank you again for being here and liking my videos, and I will see you soon. Bye.